You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. All right, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? Yes, I miss you when we're not talking. All right, let's start off with a couple of reminders, announcements, and other random things. Yeah, I got a few of those, you know. What can I say? First thing, if I had been home earlier, I might have just had to hijack AOTR for the night. Because, boy, Rick, I gotta come on and vent one of these days. Soon. Alright. Secondly, yes, I did change my Twitter handle. I am now at, all one word, Radio Host Jessie. Yes, that is my new Twitter handle. So, just as a reminder, because yes, that is a lot going on. Now, there's a couple other things. There isn't one major global focus, for lack of a term. But I do have some updates, some interesting things. And how many of you knew? Show of hands, come on. How many of you knew today was Human Trafficking Day? Awareness Day? Yeah, I'm willing to bet. Today is Human Trafficking Awareness Day, and January is National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Now, I do have a brief audio clip on this that I am going to play for you.
Going forward, the Department will continue to partner with the Joint Staff and our combatant commands, as we have since 2013, to conduct joint training exercises that include trafficking in person scenarios that help ensure our total force understands their role in preventing, recognizing, and reporting trafficking in persons incidents. In addition to joint training exercises, DoD continues to invest in and develop a variety of robust training resources to help educate our total force on combating trafficking in persons, including specialized training for our law enforcement and acquisition professionals and toolkits to assist leaders in developing their own specialized training.
Sorry, didn't quite cut it off before the DoD sound effect, but it's cool. All right. Yes, our Department of Defense actually, and this is something I'm going to lead off with tonight because I feel this is a very important topic, and it's something I normally don't have a chance to touch on. And human trafficking is modern-day slavery. It destroys families and, of course, destroys the lives of those who are victimized. Now, let me explain a little bit about the training. There are obviously specialty classes that I know nothing about, but I have seen bits and pieces of the materials on the annual training that the Department of Defense puts all of its military personnel through, or at least all the Army people. And I'm willing to bet that is force-wide. And the Department of Defense also doesn't try and do this alone. Got another audio clip for you.
Additionally, our Special Operations Command partnered with the National Association to Protect Children and the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security Investigations to establish the Human Exploitation Rescue Operative Child Rescue Corps, known as HEROES. This group trains wounded, ill, and injured service members in high-tech forensic and law enforcement skills to assist federal agents in the fight against online child sexual exploitation. These heroes exemplify the power of public-private partnerships to help combat trafficking in persons.
All right, so our Department of Defense is actively fighting this. It is not, what are they doing? And they are actively working to combat this. And it's not, they don't do it one day a year. They do it repeatedly. And that's something I wanted to make you aware of. I felt it was very important to bring this up today. And you know, this isn't the kind of news I tend to lead off with. I tend to lead off with things that are a lot more definitive. But I felt this was very important because this is something that I feel strongly about. I don't know how else to explain it. You know me, I occasionally come up with something unique that, well, I'm just going to talk about it and you're going to come along for the ride. Now, that's unless you're hanging out in the chat room with me over at KLRNRadio.com. And yes, for those of you wondering, I am live tonight. Come on, I do a better pre-record some nights. Now, the sound you have all been waiting for. Now that I got my human trafficking rant, as it were, out of the way. Yep, there's the show prep. You know it's always here. It's just a question of when, where, and how I bring it up. Now, we are going to discuss the Korean Peninsula. However, that will not be our sole topic tonight. But we will be discussing the Korean Peninsula extensively tonight. But we're not going to take the usual who has what weapons, who's fired what, and what weapons can do what, and what the military what would happen should war break out. But I've got a couple other things. Now first, I gotta ask, have you ever left your car windows down? Have you? And maybe it rained? Well, you're not the only one. Nope. You know, nations like to project strength, and they often use their military and naval vessels as a source of that. Well, India is no exception. It had just completed its first nuclear submarine some months ago. And it's back out of commission. You won't believe why. I had to read the story twice. Last year, India just fielded the nation's first ever nuclear ballistic missile submarine. That's an important part of any nation's nuclear deterrent strategy. Well, they had high hopes for this submarine. It was the most important platform in India's nuclear triad, covering land, air, and sea modes. And something went wrong. You ready for this one? Someone left the hatch open while the submarine was docked. And this allowed water to flood the submarine's propulsion compartment and cause serious damage to the vessel. Now, we've all had to clean off our seats and do various other little things when we leave the windows down on our car in the rain. But I highly doubt the total ever reached $3 billion. Yeah, you heard me. $3 billion. The laundry list of repairs the submarine requires following the incident included having pressurized water coolant pipes cut out of the submarine and replaced because of exposure to the seawater. And you certainly don't want a leak in a coolant pipe to the submarine's 83 megawatt nuclear reactor. That could lead to a meltdown. So, no, we do not want that. Now, that I just personally found this hilarious. Now, this submarine, it's called the Arihant, and it's a modified version of the Russian Akula-class attack submarines. Now, of course, changes were made to accommodate a variety of ballistic missiles, including India's K-15 and K-4 intermediate range missiles. And it was definitely seen as a deterrent against aggression from India's diplomatic and occasional military opponent, Pakistan. Yes, this is just absolutely unbelievable. You destroy a submarine because you left the hatch open. I don't know how else to put this one, but if I had a laugh track, which I don't, I'd be playing it. Now, that is a pretty stark thing. And I have a feeling whoever did it is either hiding or or got in some real trouble if they could figure it out. All right. I am going to drop just a couple moments of bumper music because actually we're going to take just a brief commercial break. This will be just a real quick one because I have something that has just come to my attention that I need to take care of. So I know we're way ahead of the schedule, but we're going to take just a little bit of a commercial break because I need to take care of one little thing. And then I will be more than happy to come back and chat with you. And no, you don't get to know what it is. Sorry. That's for me to know. And it might be show related, but no, it's not a surprise guest. All right. I don't have a good human trafficking bumper, so we're going to just grab this one.
Everything is changing. Little Superman falls. Everything is breaking and apart now. There's no one to save us all. Superman falls.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
They fight and die for our freedom. No one had to ask them to go without a moment's hesitation. For the red, white, and blue.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while I took that unscheduled, unusual, out of the ordinary commercial break. You know that's not my normal style. But certain things must be attended to immediately. All right, back to the show prep. No, it wasn't the coffee pot. All right, Japan's getting riled up because a Chinese military vessel was detected in waters near disputed islands in the East China Sea. Oh yeah. The Chinese frigate was seen in waters contiguous to Japan's territory around the islands known as the Senkaku in Japan and the Diaoyu in China. The Defense Ministry said it did not enter Japanese territorial waters. A foreign submarine was detected in the same area Wednesday as well as on Thursday. And of course, they left out the nationality, but if they're yelling about Chinese military ships, you want to bet there was a sub there too. And they strongly urged China not to do anything to interfere with improving bilateral ties. The Director General of the Japanese Foreign Ministry Asian and Ocean Affairs Bureau met with China's ambassador to express concern about grave concern about the move. That's diplomatic speak, kids, for saying it was madder than a wet hen. Now, China openly rejects Japanese criticism of such patrols, saying its ships have every right to operate in what China calls its territorial waters. Smell another South China Sea, kids? 'Cause I sure do. Alright. Now, we are going to talk a whole other version of warfare. Yeah, like I said, today's another one of those little bit of everything episodes. The vast global networks of the Defense Department are under constant attack, with the sophistication of cyber assaults increasing. And the Defense Information Systems Agency was part of a moderated discussion with Army Lieutenant General Alan R. Lynn, Director of Defense Information Systems Agency, and Commander of the Joint Force Headquarters DoD Information Networks in Arlington. They talked about cybersecurity. I've got a little rundown on what they said. A few years ago, getting 1 gigabyte or a 2 gigabyte attack at the internet access point was a big deal. Now we get 600 gig attacks on the internet access points, and unique, different ways of attacking that we hadn't thought about. The Department of Defense is fortified against even larger attacks. There's now what we would call it the terabyte of death. There is a terabyte of death that is looming outside the door. We're prepared for it, so we know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. Now, this causes absolute havoc with your system. And it is a 32 million person network. Yes, that is the size of the network we are discussing. This isn't some little business. This is a 3.2 million person network. And he said there are challenges to finding solutions that scale to the Department of Defense. A commercial solution that works for a smaller operation may not translate that well when you scale it up into something that is effective for the worldwide Department of Defense network. And he is in a combat support agency role, and he deals with a multitude of networks. Examples: the one that works between the drones and the drone pilots, or the F-35 flying megacomputer. And there's also, quote, big pipes that connect various entities to missile defense. So it's one of those things, there is an attack coming that should hit the Pentagon that's about a terabyte in size, and I'm waiting for somebody now to try it, just because he talked about it. Alright, folks, we have reached our regularly scheduled commercial break. Yes, I am going to take the break, the full break, and I will see you on the other side.
They fight and die for our freedom. No one had to ask them to go without a moment's hesitation. For the red, white, and blue.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Everything is changing. Superman falls. Everything is breaking apart.
right. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills at their proper time. Now, I am going to get to Korea, but first, there was a wonderful Department of Defense press briefing. Now, there were a couple of things that were said in here, and I don't have the clips as well prepared as I would like. That's not news. But I am going to do my best to prep them on the fly. So let's take a quick listen.
Good afternoon, everyone.
That's a little... All right.
I wanted to let you know that we are on day 1,116 under a CR. That's more than 3 years cumulatively. And as we look ahead in 2018, the CR will expire a week from tomorrow, January 19th. As they are wasteful, they are destructive, and the longer they go, the worse it is. So I'm going to keep my topper short today so we can get more questions in.
That was her only statement at the beginning of the press briefing. She did stop short of calling on Congress to get off their six and do their job. Now, y'all know what I think of Congress, right? Yeah, that about sums it up, friends. That pretty well sums it up. Now, there were a lot of topics that came up, and the continuing resolution is very harmful to our men and women in uniform. It means that the Department of Defense has trouble doing long-term planning, long-term acquisitions.
The Secretary believes one of his pillars is alliances and partnerships.
Okay, that's not the clip I was looking for. We know the Secretary has a strong belief in alliance and partnership. What it was referencing, since I played part of it, was the fact that Secretary of Defense made an unannounced, unscheduled trip to the Canadian Embassy, and he is preparing to go to a meeting in Vancouver, British Columbia.
I would like to ask you about the phone call that Chairman Dunford had last night with his Russian counterpart, General Gerasimov. If you could give us...
I thought this was interesting because it does at least reference Russia.
More details, what was about, and if they have discussed the latest attacks on 2 Russian bases inside Syria. What there were drones attacks.
I'll let the General...
Sure, the call did occur yesterday. It was a frank, cordial exchange of views. I'm not going to comment on the substance of the call. We don't do that as a matter of policy.
And for the record, they did come out later in the briefing and state that the United States had no part in the drone attacks.
That's an operational detail that I'm not...
Yes, this was interesting.
Can you update us on how it's going and how many SDF fighters are you planning to train regarding the border security issues?
That's an operational detail that I'm not going to go into at this time. We provide a broad variety of training opportunities to allies and partners in the region, but I'm not going to go into the details of that. It'd be premature at this time.
And if you didn't catch the question, it was about how many Syrian Democratic Forces we're training. And on that note, I do have an article. It just happened that we did the clip first. Yes, Turkey isn't happy with us. Surprise, surprise, not. Let me just find it. It's in my stack of... show prep. I know it's here. I've just got quite a stack. But Turkey's rather mad at us for basically for the Kurds, because we essentially armed quite a number of Kurdish militants to help take out ISIS, or Daesh. Now, Turkey views the Kurds as terrorists. All Kurds are pretty much terrorists in the eyes of Erdogan's government. Now, Turkey has also said they will not extradite anyone to the United States if the United States does not hand over the cleric Ankara blames for the failed coup in 2016. And of course, we're talking about Fethullah Gulen, a cleric who lives a quiet life in Pennsylvania. And Turkey is the biggest Muslim NATO country and biggest member Muslim country in NATO. And we do have an important air base there, and they are an important U.S. ally in the Middle East. But they've been at loggerheads on a wide range of issues. Every time I turn around, they are getting upset about something. Now, Turkey's foreign minister summoned a senior U.S. diplomat to express Ankara's discomfort over Washington's support for the Syrian Kurdish fighters. And it was the chargé d'affaires, who's basically the second in charge of the embassy, and it was Philip Konsnet. And he is the most senior U.S. diplomat in Ankara after the departure of Ambassador John Bass. His replacement has yet to be named. So basically, the chargé d'affaires is running the show. Ankara says that YPG fighters are linked to the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, the separatists inside Turkey. Now, the PKK has waged an armed campaign since 1984 that has killed more than 40,000 people. Wednesday's move was not the first time Turkey has expressed their displeasure. And this isn't the only diplomatic move that Turkey is making. The Turkish foreign minister, whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, has warned Russia and Iran they should adhere to the joint accord they signed with Turkey last year, in which the three countries announced a de-escalation zone in Idlib. Yes, the battle against Daesh is still going on. You just don't hear as much in the news, and they aren't doing as many press briefings. What else can I say about it? All right, let's play a little more audio clip roulette.
So just from a purely military perspective, we try to think globally. So we balance a number of competing threats. Certainly Russia and the development of the Russia Strategic Force is something we continue to look at. But at the same time, we balance it against more pressing, immediate threats. I would say we watch it closely. I think we're on a trajectory that we believe is going to give us a lot of good alternatives as we confront their growing forces.
And with President Trump actually stating the fact that he does not want to increase the missile size, but yet wants to modernize it, that will play a role in it as well?
I'd wait on the NPR for the details of that, which is going to be forthcoming very soon, but that we'll talk in some detail.
NPR is it's basically a report on our nuclear triad and the modernization. So I don't know how else to explain that one. I've moved a little bit further on in the briefing, and yes, I am playing audio clip roulette because I am forestalling talking about a couple of things. All right, we're going to get to it. I've put it off long enough. We're going to go to Iran and Iraq, and then we're going to get to North Korea. The wave of recent protests throughout Iran is the latest sign of Tehran's crisis of leadership. It is a crisis that has indicated all echelons of state and all the factions that compete for power within it are on shaky ground. For over a week, the Iranian protesters chanting slogans against figures including Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, President Rouhani, and Chief Justice Sadiq Larijani have managed to lay bare the divisions among the Islamic Republic's elites. The reformists, the pragmatists, and the hardliner factions that have held together since 1979. The protests have highlighted how all those groups now lay on one side of the divide between the Iranian state and the society. Now, I do have a couple of Nikki Haley clips about Iran. Let's play the first one.
The Iranian regime is cutting off internet access in an attempt to shut down communication among the protesters. They are attempting to silence the voice of the Iranian people. We cannot allow that to happen. Every UN member state is sovereign, but member states cannot use sovereignty as a shield when they categorically deny their people human rights and fundamental freedoms.
All right. She didn't mince any words. I mean, she's pretty annoyed at what they've been up to. And I don't know how else to explain it. But that's pretty much the long and short of it. Now, just as a reminder and warning, this clip is not for the faint at heart.
All these brigades have come out to the streets. They've come out against the leader. Political prisoners must be freed. Independence, freedom, Iranian Republic. Neither Gaza nor Lebanon, my life only for Iran.
And I apologize for the audio cutting out there. That's the way the source footage was. There's nothing I could do about it. These are some of the slogans and signs that the protesters were carrying.
Let go of Syria. Think of us. We will die, but we'll take Iran back. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We're all together. And in reference to the Supreme Leader, quote, feel some shame. Let go of the country. Those are not my words. Those are not the words of the United States. Those are the words of the brave people of Iran.
All right, now, the Iranian representative to the UN had a couple of interesting responses. They are kind of hard to listen to, so pay close attention.
The hands of elements from outside Iran, including instigators based in the United States and Europe, began to be visible. Incitement to violence included encouraging and training people to use Molotov cocktails, to siege ammunition depots, and to stage an armed uprising.
So basically, Iran is accusing us of training their people on how to use Molotov cocktails. First of all, I don't think it takes much training to pour gasoline into a bottle, insert a rag, light the rag, and throw it. That is essentially what a Molotov cocktail is. Here's one other clip from the Iranian representative to the UN.
One U.S. resident took to social media to order the killing of 120 members of our security forces.
Now, I don't agree with what this citizen did because of what they say next.
Threatening that those who will be included among the killed are their families too, in their homes. This same U.S. resident publicly stated to U.S. media with complete sense of impunity that they should burn down government mosques and police stations.
Now, I'm all for peaceful protests. I support freedom of speech and freedom of expression. But when you talk about burning down state buildings, that's no longer a peaceful protest. But I do understand the Iranian people's level of frustration. And let me see if I can find the audio clip of from Trump at the UN on Iran. I am taking just a moment to look for it. Here we go.
The Iranian government masks a corrupt dictatorship behind the false guise of a democracy. It has turned a wealthy country with a rich history and culture into an economically depleted rogue state whose chief exports are violence, bloodshed, and chaos. The longest suffering victims of Iran's leaders are, in fact, its own people. Rather than use its resources to improve Iranian lives, its oil profits go to fund Hezbollah and other terrorists that kill innocent Muslims and attack their peaceful Arab and Israeli neighbors.
And yes, Iran is a state sponsor of terror. That is a fact. I keep changing Nikki Haley's title. You think I'd know it by now? But Nikki Haley laid bare the fact that with what I believe is incontrovertible proof that Iran is supporting the Houthi rebels, including violating their nuclear agreement. Now, I've got one more Trump clip from his UN speech.
It is time for the entire world to join us in demanding that Iran's government end its pursuit of death and destruction. It is time for the regime to free all Americans and citizens of other nations that they have unjustly detained. And above all, Iran's government must stop supporting terrorists, begin serving its own people, and respect the sovereign rights of its neighbors. The entire world understands that the good people of Iran want change. And other than the vast military power of the United States, that Iran's people are what their leaders fear the most.
And those people have come out from the shadows. And this has caused, this is the backdrop, once the government is not acting in the best interest of its citizens. In fact, Rouhani's recently unveiled budget has drawn much public attention for cutting back spending and criticizing institutionalized corruption in order to attract foreign investment. Rouhani proposed to cut domestic spending on subsidies, increase fuel prices, and these are things that are likely to spark further discontent. And of course, the IRGC, Islamic Republican Guard Corps, has an $8 billion budget with no oversight. Now, Ahmadinejad's role in fanning the flames of popular discontent is also relevant. However, Iranian Revolutionary, we don't know exactly what he was doing, but Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps officials have implied he has been behind it. And in fact, quote unquote, this protest is linked to an individual who has opened his mouth in opposition to the values and principle of the system. Security officials are investigating this matter to see if they see interference by this former official. And since the end of his presidential tenure, Ahmadinejad has continued to be a thorn in the side of the regime, which of course made every effort to marginalize him. If you recall, I mentioned he was not allowed to run for re-election. Because over in Iran, just because you want to run doesn't mean you can. You have to pass a special board that says you're allowed, that you're a faithful practitioner of Islam, that you meet with the state's approval, and various other bits and pieces. And I don't have time to cover all of that here. Now, remember I mentioned Nikki Haley tying Iran to the Houthis?
Aid from Iran's Revolutionary Guard to dangerous militias and terror groups is increasing. Its ballistic missiles and advanced weapons are turning up in war zones across the region. It's hard to find a conflict or a terrorist group in the Middle East that does not have Iran's fingerprints all over it.
Well, if you missed my show on that, she laid out conclusive, in my mind, proof. She broke down the missiles. She explained how each piece was tied to the Iranians. It wasn't just one of those, oh, by the way. It was definitely, absolutely laid bare. Now, I do have one more military story, and this falls under the No Man Left Behind. 2 months after Vietnam quietly announced unprecedented levels of cooperation regarding the ongoing United States prisoner of war missing in action efforts in Southeast Asia, a delegation from the National League of POW MIA families and a parallel group of Green Beret Vietnam veterans will be permitted to travel to Southeast Asia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand between January 11th and the 30th to meet key U.S. and Vietnamese officials. If the weather cooperates, they will visit in the field staff from the Defense POW MIA, working to account and locate the remaining 1,602 missing Americans still in Southeast Asia. The League delegation will be led by Chairman of the Board, CEO Ms. Ann Mills Griffiths. She will be once again joined by the League's Senior Policy Advisor, Richard Childress, Colonel, U.S. retired, and for the first time, MIA daughter Cindy Stonebreaker, a second-term elected member of the League's Board of Directors. I can't state how important it is that for this breakthrough, because 2 months ago, key Vietnamese officials said that for the first time in more than 47 years, there would no longer be any restrictions on the number of U.S. personnel who could work in countries simultaneously, affirming flexibility in field operations, and that there are no longer any areas restricted to United States access, including previously sensitive areas along the northern coastal provinces. And of course, President Trump's visit to Vietnam added increased visibility to the POW MIA issue. And he expressed desire to have all 1,602 missing veterans returned home. And he thanked Vietnam for their assistance. I don't have the audio quote, but it happened. The breakdown. There are 294 unaccounted for in Laos, which includes 50 Green Berets. who served in the secret war running missions across the fence from Vietnam. 48 in Cambodia and 7 in the People's Republic of China. 90% of them lost in areas controlled by the Vietnamese forces during the war. Like I said, this is an important part of Bring No Man Left Behind. All right, folks, I have actually run over. So, just as a reminder, you can follow me on Twitter at, yes, the new link, with the new at, which is Radio Host Jesse. Yes, it is Radio Host Jesse. You can also email me at the station at jessespov@klrnradio.com. And I will see you Monday on Jesse's POV. But be sure and tune in tomorrow night for a brand new episode of Jesse's Coffee Shop.